I've been trying to understand like the impulse behind a lot of what's been going on, and like particularly this summer where people just they don't really want solutions. They just want to tear everything down. They just want to destroy the system. And like you see this kind of hypocrisy on the left all the time where they're like, they stand up for Islam, but they say they support gay rights and women's rights, but then they stand up for Islam. It doesn't make any sense.
No.
And the only way you can make sense of it is if you think, well, they just want to tear everything down. They're kind of anti-civilization. And I've been trying to figure that out like for a long time. And I started reading Karl Popper's The Open Society and Its Enemies a couple weeks ago. And he had a really important insight that like kind of opened my mind completely to this. And I think he's totally right, is that it's this idealistic impulse that young people have, particularly, where they look around the world and they see injustice and they see suffering and they see tragedy and they think, that's bad. I don't like that. And they think, well, why does that happen? It must be because of the system. The system is causing this. And so it's this kind of naive belief that if we just tear down the system, we can fix all the suffering and the hardship in the world and that the system's responsible, instead of looking with any kind of perspective and seeing, well, actually, a lot of our systems have greatly reduced suffering and greatly reduced injustice for hundreds or thousands of years. And it's been building up to getting better and better and better over time. They don't see any of that. They just see, oh, there's bad things happening. I'm angry about it. Let's just tear everything down because anything's got to be better than this. And it's a complete lack of perspective. But that insight has allowed me to kind of understand where a lot of these people are coming from, where I never understood before. I could never figure out what's going on in these people's heads. And I think that's what it is. I think it's just complete lack of perspective, no historical knowledge whatsoever, and just saying, well, I'm angry that things are hard for people and people are suffering, so let's just burn everything to the ground.
Right, and that never helps.
It's very Rousseau. Sorry.
Yeah.
Rousseauian. But also, I don't know if he said it. No, he definitely didn't say it, because he wouldn't have agreed with it. Because he wanted to strip everything of. He was so individualistic that he wanted to strip everything, all tradition. Someone said like tradition is the democracy of the dead. And yes, everything that happened.
Kind of like that line. I don't know what it really means, but I like it.
Well, what it means is like for whatever, let's just call it, the past 2,000 years since 2022. Everything that people who have died and come, all the knowledge we have is stuff that they had figured out before us and passed on to us, and that's what tradition is. And yes, some of it's bad and we should reform it, but to Logan's point, is let's destroy it all, and you're actually throwing away a lot of good.
Right.
Like,
well, tradition isn't good in itself. It isn't per se good. We shouldn't just keep things going because they're traditions.
Yes.
But traditions exist for a reason. There's a reason why people started doing it that way in the first place. And before you just scrap one, you should really take a hard look and figure out what is the purpose of this tradition. Why does it exist? What is it function?
There's a lot of trial and error that went into that.
Exactly.
Right.
And that's a lot of knowledge that we don't have. Because I always think like the biblical story of the ark, and imagine the whole world getting flooded. Imagine like right now it's just you and your family and everything got destroyed in the world and it's just you. You would be a caveman. You know nothing. You know how much knowledge which is just wiped off the face of the
gone.
earth. Yeah, like you'd just be in a cave, like rubbing two sticks together, trying to get a fire going, and thinking like, "What do I know? I know videography.
I have no usable skills.
I worry about this constantly because I don't have any post-apocalypse skills at all.
No.
All
At that
my
point,
skills
you
are
just
like
die.
I'm a good writer. I'm good at I can do sound for these things, but like all my skills I have are more intellectual, and it's like I can't build a fire.
You rely.
I'm going to be in trouble.
Yeah.